Alright, so we're going to see if I can do this without screwing it up or burning myself. I've got some different lighting over here. There we go, now you can kind of see. As you can see, I like to have a little bit of room around the edge. A little bit of, I cut it a little short. And that's just so there's really no chance of any overhang on the edges. So I've got this laid out, matched up around all the edges, just like I want it. And this is where I would like everything to be installed. There you go, you can see all that with the lighting. Kind of like a little undercut here. So once you have this in place, and make sure you have like a pad or something down to protect the keycaps in case you're on a rough surface. Pick one of the edges. This is where things get a little tricky here. And then get, so actually, first of all, you can use regular Elmer's white glue as long as you use it in large quantities, and just place it over top of, just put the nozzle down into some of these holes and just kind of flood it a little bit so that some creeps up along the sides. Try not to get any on the actual pad that's going to touch the table, but just try to get it to flow up around the sides. And don't worry too much about, you can just kind of lay it on thick on the flat areas and then do touch-ups around the corners, because this is where you're going to have most of your problems. Because if you attach it here, then it'll curl up here, and once it starts to curl up, it'll catch, and then the rest will just come right off. Unless you're using something that has a material that actually bonds to whatever adhesive you're using. So, like I said, you can get away with white glue. It needs to dry overnight, but once it does dry overnight, it's pretty good. I tend to prefer to use hot glue, though, just because I use hot glue for everything. It's quick, and it's lightweight, and the worst case scenario is if you get some on top, it actually functions as more friction. So you get your corner, get one side, and I usually start on one flat edge, and then fold it up. And then I get a pretty flat bead. You don't have to go very, there we go. You don't have to go very thick, just enough to get full contact, but just get that one side in real well. This thing's been acting up. Yeah, it's not going to work. This also happens. There we go. Okay, so this is where things get tricky for me, but not tricky for you, because you're hopefully not doing this one-handed for no apparent reason. Okay. We got this. They're doing it in one take here. It's okay. So we'll just peel this back, and that will stay back. So notice how we're still keeping our position. So we're holding this in place. We're only moving one corner, and the rest of it is still in the correct position for us. I'm just going to do this two-handed. So we'll lay down a nice bead here. And then lay that back on top of it. Just gently press it on there. If you push it down too much, it'll squeeze through. And once it squeezes through, you'll have a little extra on this side. You can pick that off or let it stand. Like I said, the hot glue actually makes really good friction. Makes for a really good friction surface. Also, don't worry about the little, if you are using the hot glue method, don't worry about the little strings. Once they dry, they come right off, and you don't have to worry about them. But your object here is just to get one side down and to get your position of all of this locked in. Because once the position of this whole thing is locked in, now I can't, I can't lay it back on the wrong way, because this side is angled correctly. So when I just roll it back out, it fixes itself. So you just got to get that one side down. Once you get the one side down, you can actually come over here, just kind of roll it up until you get to your glue bead, and that's perfect. So now I'm going to figure out how to do this and not burn myself. We're just going to work our way down, rolling as we go. The only thing about the hot glue is you want to make sure that you don't, here we go. You want to make sure that you get these contact points, these flat points right here, in between the switches. So you're not like filling these holes with hot glue. That's not very effective. You just want to make sure you get these flat parts right here, and make sure that you get pretty close to the edge here. Again, don't go all the way to the edge and put a fat bead, because once you do, it'll spread out and it'll come over the edge. It'll look nasty. So just go like right here. Remember, you can always touch up afterwards. You know, if you go like right here and it curls up a little bit on the end, that's much easier to fix than if you just yeah, I'm still recording. Okay. Okay. Right. So we're just gonna do kind of a zigzag. We'll come down to about here. We'll go up, come up to about here, come across, and then we'll unroll some to cover that spot. And then we'll do the next line all the way down to here, come down, come back up, and then unroll some. So that's how we'll do it. And hopefully I'll be able to do this in one go and not burn myself and keep the camera oriented. Oh boy. Okay. This is really a lot easier than I'm making it seem. Don't worry about it. So here we go. Again, not a super strong bead, just laying it down. It doesn't need to be super thick. And my hot glue gun is acting up, so I'm pushing it manually. You are now hot glue gunning manually. Go, we'll stop there. Just unroll a little bit here and a little bit there, and that's it. We'll continue down. Okay, I just went off the rails there because I saw some smoke. I saw what I thought was some smoke. It was not. So I'll have to clean that up. I thought I saw some smoke behind the camera, and I'm like, that's what's burning, what's on fire. So don't do that. Then this edge, go kind of light. There we go. There we go. So if you've done it correctly and proceeded with the hot glue bead as you went down the line, everything should be pretty well locked up. Could probably get a little closer to the edge. Can you see this? There we go. Could probably get a little closer to the edge here. If anything, this bead might be a little thin.